Okay, so I'm back again to do the second part of my November book haul, even though it's January 22nd or maybe it's 23rd. I'm not sure which. I just haven't been in a booktube mood. I've pretty much been like kind of being a hermit and like keeping to myself, and I've been reading a lot. I've actually gone through quite a few books, more than what I have been able to get through in the last year. So I was really I don't know what happened. I just kicked in all of a sudden. I'm just reading like a maniac. So I'm going to hurry because I actually have quite a few books to go through. I don't want the video to get too long. So these first books that I'm going to show you were, like I said, from November. And these were from the book outlet. Whoops, that's not the first book. We want to do a different book. The first book that I'm going to show you is the first volume in the Wildcard series, which, from what I understand, is a series written by a bunch of different writers, and it's edited by George R.R. Martin, who, of course, everybody knows, but in case you don't know, he did the Fire and Ice series, which is what Game of Thrones was based on. And these are like superheroes, is what my understanding is. And I don't really get into superheroes. I don't like superhero stories. I like some of the superhero movies. Like, for example, I like Guardians of the Galaxy. Loved Guardians of the Galaxy. And I really liked Deadpool. But anyways, I won't go down that road. I'm not a super huge fan of superheroes, but I do like some. So I thought I would give this series a try, and Book Outlet had these little tiny hardbacks. I swear these are my favorite kind of books. These little tiny, like mass market size hardbacks. I absolutely love this. If I could get all my books in this size, I would be super thrilled. Look how cute this thing is. It's just adorable. So you can see the little inside pages there. Yeah, I'm really pleased with these little books, and you can't hardly find them. But there's like a whole series of classics, actually. I forgot who the publisher is, but they have like gold trim and like gold page edges and stuff, and they're really, really pretty. And I keep forgetting about those, but I want to get a whole bunch of those, gradually in classics in those little tiny, really pretty hardback editions. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So this is the first volume in the series. I'm going to give it a try. It's called, apparently just Wild Cards 1. Are they all like called Wild Cards 1, 2, 3, etc.? I don't know. But this one is, let me see. Who's the author of this one? It says edited by George R. R. Martin, but who wrote this thing? Why is there no author? There's no author. What? You know what? Maybe the first volume is written by George R. R. Martin. Yeah, it just says copyright 1986 by George R. R. Martin and the Wild Cards Trust. Apparently this is an expanded edition, expanded in 2010 by George R. R. Martin. So yeah, this first one must be by him, but I know that they're not all by him. I know that there are a lot of different authors because I've seen the authors on the covers, and some of them, and I'm familiar with quite a few of them. So I was really interested in it. But this cover's there's no synopsis on the back, or I'd read it to you. Oh no, yeah, there is. I'll just read the synopsis. Okay. Contained within is a secret history of the world, a history in which an alien virus struck the Earth in the aftermath of World War II, and you could tell it's World War II by the pilot's outfit here on the cover, and his gun too. I don't know that much about guns, but that looks like well, no, I don't know actually. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know anything about guns. Anyhow, World War II era. A history in which an alien virus struck the Earth in the aftermath of World War II, endowing a handful of survivors with extraordinary powers. This is their story. Interesting. Oh, this is a collection. It says Wild Cards Volume 1 includes powerful tales by Roger Zelazny, Walter John Williams, I don't know who that is, David D. Levine, Melinda Snodgrass. I don't know her at all, and you would think with a name like Snodgrass, I would remember her. Michael Casnett, Howard Waldrop, I do know that one, and then, of course, George R. R. Martin. So this one just has a couple of authors that I'm familiar with. Anyway, so yeah, okay, I'm totally excited to read this because it's outside of my sort of wheel here, so, give that one a try. And then I bought this little astrology dictionary. Like when I was in my early 20s, I was like really, really interested in astrology as a concept, as a system. And it's really actually very interesting once you take the deep dive into it. There's a lot more to it than people would think. So anyways, I have a lot of astrology books from my early 20s when I was really serious about looking into it. And I got this little dictionary just because it was cheap, and I thought it was really cute, and I thought it would be really handy because I still do look at it once in a while. The next book I got is The Humans by Matt Haig. author of The Radleys. I'm not familiar with that book, but anyways, I have seen this book all over BookTube. I watched that Emily Fox, and she has talked about this book several times, and I do believe she really, really liked it, and I think it sounds amazing. And of course, science fiction is my main genre, so I really had to have this book. It's about an alien who takes human form, and if I'm remembering correctly, like the aliens want to take over humanity or possibly destroy humanity. And so he's there to get kind of collect intelligence on humanity. But while he's in human form, living as a human, he kind of learns what it is to be human. And my understanding is from, I think it was one of Emily Fox's videos. It might have been in somebody else's video, but they talked about the reason the nose is on the cover is because the alien, when he's in human form, he talks about how strange human noses are, which is a thing that I never really thought about, but I don't know. We'll see how this book goes. I have high hopes for it. Hopefully I'm not disappointed. The next book I got from Book Outlet was Medusa in the Graveyard, which is book 2 of the Medusa cycle. I have book 1. It's up there on my shelf. As you can see, I kind of changed my location. I'm sitting on my floor so I can get other shelves in my book videos. And also my stool that I like to sit on is like kind of squeaky and stuff, and so that gets annoying, and I don't want to drag my other like pretty black chair over constantly, so I'm like, I'm just gonna sit on the floor, it's fine. But anyways, this is book 2 in that series, and I have not read book 1 yet, but it sounds really good. It's about a person who I guess is removed from their body and inserted into a spaceship's computer as a worm. Which is different than a virus. I'm not really sure how. Worms aren't really a thing anymore, but when I first got on using computers, when I first got a computer at home, like that was a big deal. Like you could get infected with a worm, and they were kind of hard to remove and stuff. But anyway, so this person becomes a computer worm, and she was murdered apparently. So I thought it sounded really interesting, and this is interesting, and this is book 2 in that series. And then Book Outlet is selling all these paper mill classics, and they have the vinyl covers, which I'm super into the vinyl covers. I love the vinyl covers. If they could be small, like that Wild Cards book, it would be perfect. But yeah, I really like these vinyl covers. I think they're better than both hardback and paperback because they have the flexibility, or most of the flexibility, of a paperback, but they have a lot of the durability of the hardback without, you know how if you drop your hardback book, like you can often ding it or like bend the corners and stuff like that, or get a little scratch in it and stuff. And if you drop these, that doesn't happen. I mean, it's vinyl, you know what I mean? It's less destructible. So I really, really like the vinyl covers. So I got a bunch of classics. I got A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. And this is awfully thick. There's got to be other stories in here. A Tale of Two Cities isn't, yeah, no, it does. I thought Tale of Two Cities was really short. You know, I haven't read it since junior high. Maybe I read like an abridged version. I'm not sure. I read it for English class, but I absolutely loved it. And so I thought I wanted to read this as an adult. So Tale of Two Cities, look how pretty the cover is. I really like these covers. Like I got one, Madame Bovary, just to test to see if I would like them. Loved it. So I got like a whole bunch of others. Tale of Two Cities. Okay, next. And then I got The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Let's see. Are there other stories in this, or is this all The Picture of Dorian Gray? Yeah, it looks like it's all The Picture of Dorian Gray. Again, I thought this was smaller. Maybe. Oh, look how tiny the print is in this thing. Look at that. But half the page, it only takes up like half the page. There's so much space. Not very efficient. Okay, and then this one I'm very, very excited about. Moby Dick by Herman Melville. I have been wanting to read this for so long. I've been wanting to read this since like junior high. Never got to it. I never got to it. So finally, I am going to read this. In the next 2 months, I am reading this book because I really, really want to read it. I have wanted to read it for so long, and I'm tired of waiting on reading it. And I didn't realize it was so thick. Of course, kind of the links are a little bit deceiving in these, so maybe it's not as thick as what it would be in another edition. Anyways, yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. Again, look how pretty the cover is. I really like it. Okay, and then Phantom of the Opera by, what? A French name, I don't know. Gaston Leroux. So yeah, I've never read it. I saw the old silent film. Love the silent film. Of course, I'm a huge science film buff. Every silent film I can find, like on Amazon, or if they have them on Netflix sometimes too, I will watch them because I absolutely love silent films. I love the acting. Like everybody in these silent films, they had to like overact. So their expressions are very exaggerated, and their mouths are very exaggerated, and their hands are all over the place, and their strides are very exaggerated. And I just love watching the way that these people had to act to bring out the emotion without using words. And I'm just completely fascinated by it. I wish they would make silent films now just as sort of an addition to what we already have, because I just love silent films so much. But anyway, yeah, I saw the silent film, love the silent film. I saw some other, I saw a play, I saw it on stage. I saw some of the, they made movies throughout the years. There was like one in the 80s that I watched, and there was one in the 90s, I think, that I watched. So there's been a few of the movies that I've watched, but I've never read the book. See, it's one of my favorite stories. Why have I not read the book, right? So I'm going to read the book. I'm very excited for that. Again, cover. I love these Paper Mill Classic covers. And then I got A Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. I have 3 other copies of this book. I do not need another copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is an amazing story, by the way. I loved this story. I read it in junior high, loved it. But yeah, anyways, I haven't reread it as an adult, and that's what I want to do. So, but I think my other copies I have, let's see, I have another vinyl edition, so I'll keep that one, but my other ones are paperbacks. So I'm going to put those on the little free library because I don't need 4 copies of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I mean, really, come on. So anyways, look at the cover. Yeah. Okay, and then, oh, I was just talking about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This one is Journey to the Center of the Earth. This one is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Journey to the Center of the Earth. I have also read this, and it is amazing too. I absolutely love this. I don't know which of these I like more. Like I said, I read these in junior high, so I'm not really sure. But anyways, let me show you the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea cover, since I just showed you the wrong one. Okay. My book stack fell over. Okay. And then the last one, I got this just kind of on a whim. It's called Classic Penguin Cover to Cover, and it is, the whole book is nothing but penguin covers. And then it gives descriptions about where they come from, and it talks about each of these covers and the artist and things like that. And I'm not super into penguin classics, but I have been more interested in them because I watch Steve Donahue, and he's like obsessed with penguin classics. And then if you watch Jack over at the Rambling Rockin' Tour, he's got tons of penguins on his bookshelves behind him. You can see them all. And so I've become more interested in penguin classics just since I got on BookTube. And so I thought, I'm going to pick up this book and I'm going to read about these covers and stuff because so many of them have artwork and things like that on them. And that does interest me. So I thought, I'm going to pick that up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I'll just read it, one of these days when I'm not really interested, when I'm not really in the mood to read. Is there really a time when you're not in the mood to read? When I'm looking for other activities besides reading, then I'll pull this out and look through it. So looking forward to that. Okay, and then on to the non-Book Outlet books. Okay, so these ones did not come from Book Outlet. They were just ones I got after my last video, or like I got them and then I had forgotten about them. Some of them I had already had, but I forgot to include them in the video. But they are still November books. This first one is called The Wild Road by Marjorie M. Liu. And it's part of a series, a Dirk and Steele novel. I don't know anything about it. I don't really read romance anymore. I read romance in junior high. Well, actually, 6th grade is when I started reading romance novels. Sixth grade, and then junior high and high school, and like throughout my 20s. Like, I think I didn't even stop reading romance novels until I was like 28, thereabouts. I might have read a few in my early 30s, but I can't even think of any. So I just kind of lost interest in the genre. And like now, I just don't have any interest. But every once in a great while, I'll see one. I'm just like, that sounds good. And I'll want to give it a try. And I had a reading slump a few months back, a really, really hard reading slump. I just could not read for nothing. And so I thought, well, maybe if I like got a book that I could just kind of like skim through and not have to read every single word, that it didn't matter if I skimmed around and stuff. Because, you're not really missing a lot in romance novels. There's not a lot of, I don't want to say plot, but there's not a lot of intricacies that you have to pay attention to in order to keep up with the story. You could skip a chapter and it wouldn't really matter too much. So I thought this one looked really good, and I actually had like put it on my wish list. Like I have several lists on Amazon I haven't categorized, and then I have like my official wish list, which I don't post anywhere. Nobody has it. Nobody has the list, because I just use it for my own organization purposes. But I kind of tend to dump all the books that don't need their own category. Like I don't really read too much in that genre, or they're just kind of like general fiction. They don't have like a real category. I tend to put all of those books on that list. And my friend Greenie is the only person who has that wish list. So every once in a while she gets me a book from my wish list, and every once in a while I get her a book from her wish list. And so I was in this terrible reading slump, and so she sent me this book from my wish list. So yeah, I didn't read it. I tried to, but like I said, it was during my reading slump, and I just couldn't read very much. But I do still want to read it because it does seem like it would be interesting. So it's a supernatural romance, by the way, and it looks like angels. I don't remember now, but he's got wings, so maybe an angel. Now I have to look. Okay. The dying race of remarkable creatures. It doesn't say he's an angel. Sure looks like an angel, though. Maybe he's some kind of like shape-shifting bird of some kind or something. I don't know, but his wings have feathers, so. Okay, and then, and then my Book of the Month Club books came. I got 3. I got the Book of the Month and 2 add-ons. I think Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane was the Book of the Month that month, was one of the books, was the official Book of the Month. And it's a thriller, of course, and it's a domestic thriller. I believe that she has, from the synopsis, she has killed her husband, but he shows up alive or something like that. I can't remember what the deal was, but I thought it sounded good, and I wanted to give it a try because I do like thrillers. But they are, and I do like them, but I don't like them all the time. But I have actually read quite a few this year because I was exploring horror and thriller because it's a genre that I hadn't really read ever. So anyways, this one sounded like it might be good. And then I got 2 add-ons. I got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is not an author that has ever interested me. None of her books have ever seemed interesting to me, except for, what's the one about the little girl? It's a middle grade, and it's about the little girl who can see the ghosts. Oh gosh, let me put my glasses on. My other bookshelf is across the room here. It's, City of Ghosts. City of Ghosts. City of Ghosts. That's the only book that I've been interested in. So I bought City of Ghosts and Tunnel of Bones, and I haven't read them yet, so I don't know if I'll like them, but I have them. All of her other books don't even appeal to me, but this one did because I really like stories about the devil. And this is about a girl who makes a deal with the devil to get out of an arranged marriage. And so her life is extended because I believe that she's been alive for a couple hundred years in the book. And however, the price she kind of pays for that is that nobody can remember her. Like anybody who meets her forgets her as soon as she's out of the room. And so she can't really make any friends or have like a real life because nobody remembers who she is. So, yeah, and the devil, I guess it's kind of sort of romance between the devil and her, although my understanding is it's not actually a romance. So yeah, this really interested me. I like devil stories. I hate this cover though. This cover is terrible. I don't like the cover at all. They could have been a little more creative here. Don't like it. And then let's see, the other add-on I got was Cersei by Madeline Miller. I do like Greek and Roman based books. I do like Greek and Roman mythology. I'm not super into it anymore. I was when I was like in junior high, but I still do have a kind of a passing interest in it. And I want to read the classics though. Like modern books are not super appealing to me these days, but the classics are. So I do plan to get to those. But this one is a retelling of, okay, Cersei. I can't remember which one she was. Who was she? I can't remember now. But anyways, this is really popular. It's been all over BookTube. Everybody knows about it. I'm like the last person to get to this book. So looking forward to reading that at some point. And then one of my very favorite authors, and this author writes my favorite fantasy series called the Dice Irae series, and there's 3 books in that series out, and the fourth one will be coming out sometime reasonably soon because she's really good about getting her books out. But anyway, she has put all of her short stories in book form, or her novellas in paperbacks, and so I'm quick to be buying those up. So Amelie, this is really good. Elisa Hoffman, I forgot, that's the author. And then Amber Flame, this one is my favorite one. It's amazing. I want her to write a full-length book based on one of the characters, who is my favorite character that I won't tell you who it is. Well, yeah, I can tell you who it is. It doesn't spoil anything. The Queen. The Queen, I want to know all about the Queen and her story from this novella. Oh, I'm dying. Lisa, you definitely have to write a full-length story. I want to see a full book on this. I hope she does. But anyway, so I got those two from her. And then finally, I pre-ordered this like in, I don't know, January or February of 2020. And I finally got it in November. They pushed the publication date back so many times because of COVID and everything. And that is Paradise Lost. And it was edited by Gordon Teskey. So I have this, and then I have like a hardback of the original publication by John Milton with all of the typing errors and stuff, because the original print of it was terrible. He was blind, and so he got taken advantage of in a pretty terrible way. And it's before the rewrite, so it is the original text. My hardback is. I'm assuming this is also the original text. I'm going to be disappointed if it's not, but I can't imagine I would have pre-ordered this book if I hadn't researched to make sure it was the original text. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this alongside my hardback with the original publication, you know. Looking forward to that. I'm going to get to that sometime. And then I got the, I forgot which one this is in the Murderbot series. It is the fourth one, I think. The fourth one. And it's called Exit Strategy, Martha Wells. This is getting really popular. I've noticed on BookTube people are really starting to talk about this a lot. I love it. I think it's wonderful. I read the first book. I have all the rest of them. I just haven't got to the rest of them yet, but I loved that first one. It was amazing. And everybody who's read the rest of them think it's amazing as well. I've heard a lot of good talk about that. But if you're a science fiction fan, but you kind of want something different in the science fiction genre, like you're not looking for a space opera, you're not looking for first contact with aliens, you're not looking for other dimensions or time travel or any of that kind of stuff. This one is a lot more gritty, and the robot or cybernetic person, whatever they are in here, I can't remember now what they were called, but has a real personality and has emotion. And she's really sarcastic, or she's female to me. Like, I watched Daniel Green's review of the Murderbot series, and I agreed with what he said and everything, but he kept referring to Murderbot as a male. But to me, Murderbot was female. I mean, actually, they don't have a sex. It's an artificial intelligence. There's no gender there. But like she just seemed like female to me, even though she's an artificial intelligence who is there for protection. This is like a battle bot, you know what I mean, with weapons and you know, and fighting skills and all this kind of thing. And destruction is the name of her game. She seems female to me. So I'm just going to keep calling her female because, I don't know, she just seems female. I didn't get male at all. Can't tell you why. So anyways, yeah, I'm really excited. I believe this is the fourth one. And then I also got the fifth one, which is actually a full-length novel. I think there's 350 pages in here. Or right about 350. Yeah, 346 pages it looks like. 347 maybe. Yeah, 350 exactly. Oh, look at me. I'm on the button. Yeah. Go me. 350. So 350 pages, full-length novel. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. I'm going to be reading all these really soon because I want to read them back to back as one continuous story. I hate breaking up my series like that. Like, a lot of times I won't even start a series until it's either done or if it's going to be a long series, until there's like 5 or 6 books out, because I don't like waiting, because my memory is not good. And so if I'll read a book, and then if it's a year before I have the next book, then I can't hardly remember the previous book. You know what I mean? I really think that authors should include this is what happened in the previous books in the front of each of their novels, so that those of us who have terrible memories don't forget what has happened and who all the people are. Anyway, I won't rant about that anymore. So anyways, yeah, the next book I got was a gift. An old friend of mine, we haven't talked in like 10 years. He re-entered my life. No romantic anything. There's no romantic. He is strictly a friend. You just don't know how much you miss somebody until they're back in your lives again. But he bought me, because I was telling him how much I wanted this book. And it is Robert E. Howard's Conan, the Cimmerian Barbarian. It's all the stories that were published in the pulp fiction magazines. And they're even in pulp fiction form. You can see they're in columns, so it would be like reading it from the old pulp fiction magazines. There's illustrations in here. A lot of these are the original illustrations. I'll see if I can find one for you. I should have marked that. I should have looked that up first. Oh, here we go. Well, that one's got nakedness in it. Maybe I better not show that. Okay, this one is decent enough. So that's the cover of the magazine that this particular story was published in. Each story has the cover of the magazine it was in, Weird Tales, at the beginning of the story. So yeah, I like that. And then there's also like other illustrations, like other you know, like this here. See, there's other illustrations. I think these are the originals, but I can't remember for sure. It's been a while since I read about this book now. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this because I do like Conan. And I've read here and there. I mean, it's old, so of course there's, women are not portrayed in the best light. but but I don't mind. It's fine. They're really old, so what do you expect, it's the modern stuff I have a problem with. But anyways, yeah, so I'm really excited to read this. Some of my favorite fantasy is like sword and sorcery fantasy. Really, really enjoy sword and sorcery, so I'm sure I'll really, really like this. So, okay, so that's the rest of my November books. I have no more November books, so I'm going to also make a December book haul video, and I don't have like a lot of December books, so I'm just going to put those all in one video. And then I have oh, you know what? I take it back. I do too have a lot of December books. I forgot. I made a trip to the Half Price bookstore in Kansas City, and I got like, I don't know, 10 books or something. And then plus I already had like 10. So I guess I have a lot of books. So anyway, stay tuned and I'll have my December video up in a couple of days.